What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, and we are back with another live here on the Torn Your Brain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, or join the Discord, and you can simply get the notification in there. So as y'all can see, we are finally going to be talking about this William McNeil Jr. body cam footage arrest assault, as far as I'm concerned, reaction to it, and all types of stuff. So this is going to be a very interesting stream. I told y'all on the stream that I did a couple days ago that today this was going to be the topic we were going to be discussing. But before we get into all of that, let me acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat. We got SD Johnson, we got Gold Plus, Queen Imani, Firebat, Hacksign KT, and speaking of Hacksign, thanks for kicking off the super chat with the $2. I appreciate it. We got Reparations Nation, we got Dark Titan, Wallow J, Brother Man to You, Tawana, Tater Man, D Money, Don P, and that is it so far. But shout out to everybody that is here in the chat so far. I know the count is actually very low right now. I think it's because I just shared it to Twitter. I forgot to put it on there before I went live, so people will probably start coming on as time continues to move forward. Also, shout out to Neelix and Miss Nisi in the chat. I feel like I don't have to ask anybody if they've heard about this story. I think many of y'all in the chat, or probably all of you, have already heard about this story. But basically what happened back in February, there was this traffic stop involving this black man by the name of William McNeil Jr. Allegedly, it was over a headlight. Disregard what I put into the thumbnail. I said over a tail light, was actually a headlight. And then it went from verbal to physical. Glass was punched out of a window. He was punched. He was dragged out of his car. Then he was hit some more on the ground, and then he was arrested. And it's a mess. But like I said, the event happened back in February, and the video just now came out maybe like a week ago. So when I first saw it, I thought that this just happened, but actually it happened back in February. So we're gonna go over a few things. The first thing we're gonna go over is the full body cam footage. So let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. Going to go over this body cam footage. It's about 6.5 minutes long. Put a one in the chat if you've seen the full body cam footage, because I know a lot of people only saw the footage from the vantage point of William McNeil Jr. when he was recording it on his phone inside of his car. But now we can see from the the body cam footage. Now remember, all of this is because he didn't have his headlights on, because it was inclement weather. I want y'all to keep that in mind. So let me go ahead now and get into it.
Charlie whiskey on a silver Kia. I don't know this.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need to.
Now listen to that right there. The cop is already lying. The cop is already lying. He said he pulled him over because of inclement weather and he didn't have his headlights on. Does anybody with a good pair of eyes can look and see there's nothing coming out of the sky? There's no rain, there's no fog. It's clear as day. I'm trying to figure out where is this inclement weather that is allegedly causing all of this, because I don't see nothing. Do y'all see anything falling out the sky? Because I don't see nothing. It's a clear day.
And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
It's only 35. I'm proper driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 for not for the night for the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep. If anybody responding, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting.
That's some bullshit. That is some bullshit. First, you pull him over because of a headlight that wasn't on because you said it was inclement weather, even though it clearly isn't any inclement weather. Then you say you're arresting him for resisting. What the hell is it? But this is Florida, y'all. This is Florida. I just wanted to point that out to you. This is Florida, the Jacksonville Police Department.
You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay.
Now I want y'all to notice something right quick. Did y'all notice anything about the cop vehicle, the vehicle that just pulled up? I mean, besides the fact that it is a police vehicle, what did y'all notice? And shout out to everyone, the people that just came into the chat. What did y'all notice about the vehicle that just pulled up? I want to see if anyone in the chat is going to get it. No lights. The same thing that William McNeil Jr. is being pulled over for. This cop doesn't have their headlights on. The only lights they have on are their emergency lights. Well, their overhead lights for them to let people know that it's a cop. So again, that is very hypocritical because if he doesn't have his headlights on, why does William have to have his on? For the same exact reason, because they're not needed. It's no inclement weather. It's a very clear, bright day.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window.
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to.
No, he's under arrest.
Hey, I'll lock the car on the footstep.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply. Yes.
He walked it up. He put the window down.
Correct.
I tried to talk to
Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess,
when he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door, and my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's so.
And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter.
Did y'all just hear that? He told him why was he pulled him over. He said because they told me that I was driving without my headlights on due to the rain and there's no rain. And the cop comes back and says, oh, it doesn't matter. AKA, I'm white and I say so. If I want your headlights on, you have to have them on. And he also said there's no other cars around here with no headlights on, but you pulled me over. This is why I titled this video, William McNeil Jr. was terrorized by rogue cops. This is where the terrorizing kicks in, and these are the rogue cops right here. They were looking for a reason to escalate it to the point that it's going to get to.
You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey,
Can you pull that?
Required to have headlights on during the daytime when there's no inclement weather. What the hell kind of bullshit is this?
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
And this is the part where they break the window. Like they gave the command to break the window, and he was quick to break that window, and he broke it.
exit the vehicle now. Exit the.
And then that's when he punched, and that's the assault. I hope William McNeil gets paid strictly from that department, and especially from him. You are paying for a new window or a new vehicle. You are paying for my pain and suffering. You are paying for my new house. Any loans and debt I might have, you might be paying for that too.
Vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
Justification 33 at 16.1 hours.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No, don't touch it. Get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back. Resist. Hands behind your back.
And look at this tap dancing mofo right here. And I just mentioned Zeke Arkham's name in KG's chat earlier. He looks just like him.
What's wrong with you?
What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was on.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking. What's going on, man? You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
That's a lawful reason, bro. You look on the phone like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
That's how it works. When they actually step out of the vehicle, you should have done that. So your partner didn't even act.
I see a whole bunch of vehicles with red and blue lights that do not have now one headlight on. I swear they made that shit up as they went along. They were just looking for someone to fuck with that day, and he was the one. He was the unlucky one.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is.
So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, but I didn't do nothing.
No resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
And then called him an idiot.
He backed me up to the top, that's me. He backed me up.
You start rescue. 1067. Approximately 30-year-old Bravo 9. Class ratio. I did. There you go. You I know. You should put the window. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you messed your hand up because you broke that damn window, that's on you. Don't be showing your hand. Fuck your hand.
You just. You good? Yeah, you or him? Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of that. That's the whole body cam interaction right there. Man, that was some bullshit. Flat out, point blank, period. And he was ready when he said, knock that window out. So you had this, again, to summarize, you had this man driving minding his business. He gets pulled over because he didn't have his headlights on. It's clear as day. It's bright outside. You don't need to have them on. They said it was inclement weather, but it was nothing coming out of that sky. Then the other cop going to sit up there. Well, first off, other cops pulled up and they didn't have their headlights on. And then, you had the other cop he was talking to that basically flat out gave him the "I'm white and I say so" speech. Proceed to knock out the window, then punch him, which is now assault. Drag him out of the car and then slam him on the ground and tell him to stop resisting. I think we got the gist of it, right? Okay. Now that we've gone over that, let's tap in now to this tap dancing fool right here. The sheriff, what's his name? The sheriff, who reminds me of David Clark. This guy right here, who's going to justify everything that we just watched. So let's go ahead and look into this.
I know that he was charged with resisting arrest without violence.
Yep.
But there was, when I go back and look at the other video from the cell phone video,
yeah,
I can understand the officer punching the window out. But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch.
What the fuck do you mean it wasn't a sucker punch? The guy was not expecting it. He literally, did we watch the same video? Y'all in the chat, did we watch the same goddamn video? Y'all got to excuse me. I might be cussing a bit more than usual. But what do you mean it wasn't a sucker punch? He literally punched him from the side. The guy didn't even see it coming. He wasn't even facing him when he hit him. He hit him from the side. Gonna sit there and say, oh, it wasn't a sucker punch. Like I said, y'all know my number one pet peeve. I don't have to repeat it.
I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again,
what is the context then? Please explain it to us.
I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out, and then you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence.
That's a good point from the reporter. Resisting arrest without violence. Usually when people do the resisting arrest, like if they're actually resisting, there's more. It's supposed to be from the standpoint of there being violence and combativeness from the person who's resisting. But how does that work? Resisting without violence? That doesn't even sound right. But we did, like the reporters say, we saw the violence come from those cops, especially the one that knocked out the window and then punched this man in the jaw. And then when they got him on the ground, they got even more violent with him. I can imagine this is probably just a taste of what Tyree Nichols got. Oh, well, not, you know what? Let me take that back. This guy got a taste of what Tyree Nichols got. Just a taste. I can only imagine what if they would have went full blown with it.
I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same video as you saw.
Did they? Did they?
So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
it's important. Let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duty.
You're also not allowed to punch somebody just because you in your goddamn feelings either. I don't know what it's going to take for the people down there in Jacksonville to get this dude the hell up out of there. But I don't know if I have any Florida followers in the chat right now who live in Jacksonville. But when election time comes and it's time to get him up out of there, get him the hell up out of there.
It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get what's necessary to get.
Oh, so it wasn't. So you're saying that it is necessary for your cops to knock someone's window out and then punch them in the face. That's what you're okay, y'all. I want y'all to understand this. This is why we're going over this. This piece of shit that you see on your screen right now has let the people know that the cops in his department are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to, especially if you are black. He's telling you right to your face what they are allowed to get away with, and he has no problem with it. No wonder he got this job. I have a whole video coming up in maybe a week or two talking about these damn tap dancers. All I got to say, I'm going to just leave it right there.
You under control and get you and take you into custody. So I'll leave there. I'll go with. Go ahead.
One of the discrepancies we were seeing between the police report and what we saw in the video. Even what we saw in that video was the allegation that McNeil had reached down for the knife. That was in the police report.
Where'd you see? What police report did you see that in?
In the arrest report for McNeil. That was.
I'm trying to figure out where did this knife thing come from. Like that just kind of popped up.
Stated that the officer saw him, reach for the knife that was on the floorboard. The video that was posted to social media, and even in there, I couldn't see any clear indication of that. I mean, do you see that when you're
at this point? That's for me an allegation, because I know those of y'all in the chat, we know what we saw, but that whole knife thing for me, as of right now, is an allegation.
watching this?
No, actually, I don't see where his hands are. I can't assume, Jake. No one can assume. I operate and we operate off facts and facts alone.
Do you? The fact of the matter is one of your cops punched this man in the face after knocking out his damn window. That's a fact. But you're sitting up here making it seem like it's not a big deal.
I can't make assumption. All I can go by when I read those things is what's stated in the report. I'm not saying whether it's true or whether it's not. I'm saying no one sees his hands at that point. He says, put your hands up, then his hands come up. It was after the strike to the face. Like I said, again, I'm not trying this case in front of the public. I'm trying to give the public the information in context of what happened. No one saw his hands at that point. Don't know what happened from there, but that's part of the investigative process. Yes, ma'am.
So did officers take custody of the cell phone that he was using to record the incident?
Yes. Put it in the property room.
Okay, that also was not.
But he got it back with all the information still on it.
So can I get back to the sucker punch?
The young lady back there had a question. We can get back to you in a second, Eric.
So did this incident rise to the level that a response to the resistance report was generated?
Yes.
Has that been reviewed? And it's still under review? What was the outcome?
So here's the process. When force is used, a response to resistance report is written. It goes to the supervisors. The supervisors then, at that point, review body cam footage. So they would have reviewed this. But you can't see, admittedly, you can't see the strike at all. So it's very difficult. Had they seen that, it probably would have risen to another level to where somebody else would have gone further, which is why we didn't really know at that time that all this had taken place. I'm a big believer in being honest and upfront. And if something
You're not being honest right now. Like at all.
something like that happens, I'm going to tell you about it, like everything else that we've done. But it's very important to make sure we get this stuff out here in context so folks can see it. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff, what are your thoughts on the video that was posted on social media? And here's one of the officers kind of turns off what's being recorded. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know that he turned it off. I know that at some point we stopped it, but we wanted to make sure you got a chance to see both views from the officers that were dealing with him publicly talking.
Now, I want y'all to understand something. This again happened back in February. The video that everyone saw first, which was from William McNeil Jr., that came out like a week ago from his vantage point, from his phone. That got put out like a week ago. Then they followed up with this body cam footage. That means they were sitting on this. Let's see, February, March, April, May, June, July, for about 6.5 going on 7 months. That's insane.
To them face to face. At some point, it does turn off, but usually when the interaction's over is when that happens. And that's why we're still looking. That's why we look at the entire process. That's why we check for JSO policy violations. I can't give you right now whether they turned it off at the right time or at the wrong time. This is my opportunity to share the information with the public, right? And so now we still continue to refer to the social media video. I just showed you body cam videos with much more information. Let's acknowledge.
Actually, the body cam footage actually made you look a whole lot worse, if you want to be quite honest. I'm going to be quite honest with you. The body cam footage, which is the footage we just watched, actually makes them look even worse. But leave it to him to think that it makes them look better or they look justified in what they did in their actions.
Acknowledge that, because that's important. The importance is I'm showing you the video, the body cam video from the entire incident from start until they had to turn it off or we stopped it for time, for time's sake.
Do you know if McNeil ever filed a formal complaint?
He did not. He did not. He never filed a formal complaint, which we'd have been all over it, had that been the case.
Yeah, probably all over to make sure he didn't file the complaint.
But he did not. Right there.
So I just want to get back to the punch. This is just a yes or no question.
Wait, Eric.
And why is TK Waters, that's the sheriff's name, so defensive every time the punch part gets up? Notice he lets everyone else answer and with no interruption, but this guy asks about the punch, and it's the second time he wants to get defensive about it because he knows that is not policy. He knows this. He knows his cop fucked up, and he's fucking up allowing it to just slide.
Are you going to tell me how to answer a question?
I'm just keeping it simple.
All right, go ahead.
Was it appropriate for the officer to punch this guy in the jaw after he'd already broken the window? Was that yes or no? Was that appropriate?
It depends on the circumstances.
What? Oh my God. Did y'all just hear that? The reporter asked him, was him punching him appropriate? And he said, well, it depends on the situation. Again, this is the sheriff of this whole department, and he's flat out telling them that his cops can do that. No wonder he's the sheriff, and he might have a good retention rate because of this.
But it's already determined it's not criminal. Now we're going to look for JSO policy violations. How about that? Is that good?
Well, if a civilian
And got sassy with it.
did that to another civilian, they would be in handcuffs.
No, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances, the situation.
Then we need to see all the other times that this has happened in your department. We need to do a thorough investigation.
I know that's how you want it to be. I know there's a tendency to want to be some massive cover up. That is not. That's why I'm here. I stand up. We talk to you about what happened. We give you what we can give you. Then it's up to you guys to report it. But
do you think the public is going to buy that?
I don't know. My point is,
do you think the black community is going to buy?
don't use the black thing. Don't use. I'm a black man. Wait, hold on, Eric. Hold on. Stop for a second, because you're trying to be incendiary, and this is not the time for it. This is me sharing information with our public, right? The whole statements about the black issue. I wouldn't work here if we're after black men.
I don't know about that.
Or black people, period. I can tell you he wouldn't. I can tell you any other African American or black male or female that works here wouldn't work here if we're after if our black citizens are under siege. Not the case. Not at all. I've been alive probably a little bit longer than you have. Haven't had any of these issues. You know why? Because if I was ever stopped by the police, which I was when I was a young man, and they asked me to do something, I did it. Simple compliance. It doesn't rise. It doesn't get out of control. That stuff doesn't happen then. Do as we ask you to do. If you don't like the word compliance, just do as we ask you to do then, so that we can get finished. Then you tell us about it if you feel like your rights were violated, and we can deal with it. That's the way it should work every single time. Yes, ma'am.
The officer that has been struck in the authority, does he have a disciplinary history at all?
Not that I know of. We'd have to look, but I don't think so. We'll get you that answer. Anyone else?
Any idea how long this internal investigation may take?
It's hard to tell, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. There are other cases working, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible because we want to, like I said, we want to share as much as we can as quickly as we can because it's that important. Good.
All right, y'all. So we heard that bullshit. God damn. Huh. What's Black to Black said that he lives there. So good. I have somebody in the chat that lives in that area who's familiar with this dude. Man, it is absolutely insane. It is crazy. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to pull another story up, y'all, something that also came out of Jacksonville last year, because it's something that tap dancing sheriff said that made me think of this, and I wish I would have had grasp of the video then, but I had to actually go look for it. TK Priceless Princess, TK Waters is his name. Because this man has been sheriff for a while, but it's funny he says this, but I'm going to show y'all something that puts what he said to bed. It puts it to rest. I want y'all to watch this right quick. Hold on. Let me go ahead and let me share my screen right quick. And Black to Black, you can let me know if you remember this. This happened last year in February. Ironically, they must love going after black men in Black History Month. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office reviewing incident after video shows officer slap man during arrest. DeJuan Ellis, age 29, faces charges of running stop signs, driving with a suspended license, and resisting an officer without violence. Again, that resisting without violence, the same thing that they got William McNeil Jr. on, according to his arrest report. So let me blow this up right quick so y'all can see it for yourself. I want y'all to look at this.
Yeah, bitch, that man, that's some little fucked up ass shit, dude. I'm on 16, man. This man just slapped the fuck out of me with that, bro. All resisting. Stop pushing against it. I'm not doing this. Stop pushing.
Did you see that?
All resisting. Stop pushing against it. I'm not doing this. Stop pushing against it.
You hear how hard and loud he slapped him? Like he stole something? That slap was loud, which means that was a hard ass hit across the face. This is the same department that TK Waters is the sheriff of. This happened in February of last year, which was exactly a year before what happened with William McNeil Jr. But remember what TK Waters said in the video we just watched. They look around the same age. They're both black men. We don't have to watch anymore. So let me get back to here. Now we're going to go over some a video, a press conference that William McNeil Jr. did, and this is him speaking out about it, I think, for the first time about the situation. So let me go ahead and share my screen. and we're going to go ahead and get into this. And of course, you know, Ben Crump got to be there.
First of all, I want to thank God for bringing everybody here together, and thank y'all for supporting me. That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared. And that's it.
On February the 19th, 2025, this year, America saw what America is. You saw injustice. You saw abuse of police power. But most important,
like I said, mind you, this is the first time he's spoken about this since the incident. This happened in February. Imagine having to hold on to that for months.
importantly, we saw a young man that had a temperament to control himself in the face of brutality. William McNeil. Let me be clear. And people talked about him pleading guilty to resist without violence and driving on suspended license. That entire stop was not just pretextual, racial motivated, it was unlawful. And everything that stemmed from that stop was unlawful. What we're not going to do this morning is get in the back and forth between the leaders of Jacksonville. What we're going to do, we're going to focus on the facts. And everybody saw the video. You can release all the body cameras you want, but the body camera, the cell phone footage was unedited. Here's a reality. You can talk about a knife being in the car, but it was not a weapon because he did not weaponize it. He stayed calm. The only weapon that day was a Jacksonville sheriff office. The nation saw it. Everybody saw it. And we are here for redress and get justice for the McNeil family. A college student on scholarship, doing what's required of him to be a better person. And all he did was exercise his fundamental rights, his God-given rights, to answer a simple question. Why are you stopping me? For not having headlights on during the day? Did y'all see the video where the officers came with no headlights on? No windshield wiper, no smoke, no fog, no rain. So anybody would be confused, why are you stopping me? And he exercised their right to answer that question. And they bullied him, intimidated him, broke his window, and beat him and caused permanent injuries. This was a classic case.
Okay, Ben Crump, I really don't want to hear from you. I really don't. We got the gist of it. Let's continue to move forward. So I have to talk about a response from one Greg Foreman, aka Forehead. And look at what this fool said in this as pertains to this. Greg Foreman said, the amount of energy people are spending defending this man's Neanderthal IQ behavior. He says that William McNeil Jr. has Neanderthal IQ behavior. This is what he was displaying. Because a cop punched him highlights a big problem in this country. Let's break this down. He called this man Neanderthal IQ behavior. We all know what the Neanderthal is, and the fact that this piece of shit called this man Neanderthal IQ is actually very impressive considering the worst could be said about him. Then he says, you're basically saying that he should not feel a type of way because he was punched by a cop. Okay. So, Greg Forehead, if you ever get in a situation like this, we'll just simply say that you were expressing Neanderthal IQ behavior and that you deserved everything that happened to you. I just wanted to point that out. So the next thing I wanted to share was also this comment right here coming from Police Law News. It says, William refused to give the cop his ID. He said he locked himself in his car like a child. The officer told him he was under arrest 7 times and warned him that the window would be smashed out. He acted like a toddler. He was looking for a problem and fishing for a lawsuit. Well, here's the thing. Notice that they left out the part about the cop punching him. They mentioned everything else but that, because that's where the lawsuit is going to kick in. Right there. That, in my opinion, is grounds for a huge lawsuit. That y'all want to know where my mantra of I feel nothing kicks in or comes from? Stuff like this. When shit be happening, that's what I'm talking about. Now, remember, yesterday I did a video about that girl, Sarah Grace Patrick, who took out her mom and her stepdad. To this day, we don't know why, and we may never know. But this girl took out her parents and went on to graduate and pretend like ain't shit happened, and then try to act all sad and create those crocodile tears at the funeral. Now they all crashing out over each other because of that stuff that's going on in Cincinnati at that music festival. Well, between that and the American Eagle ad. Can someone block Jay Shander out of the chat, please? And thank you. Now that I've gone over that, there's one more thing I have to go over. And this is probably going to take up like the next hour. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because this is going to be rough, y'all. Bear with me. But I have to go over an individual who had something to say. Now, I'm not going to go over what they said. I'm going to go over their response video to something that someone said about them. But we can pretty much piece it together of what BS they're going to say. Can anyone in the chat guess who I'm talking about? I think some of y'all might have an idea. As much as it pains me to have to do this, I just have. Because I want y'all to understand it's a pattern with Fakem and what he does in situations like these. But we'll go over that after we go over this. So the name of the video that this is called I Was Wrong About William McNeil Jr. And he's asking that as a question. And basically, this is a response video to another YouTuber. I think his name is called Lackluster. And response to what he said. Now, we always have called Fakem a bootlick and a tap dancer and everything like that. But when a white guy calls you that, that's saying a lot, because that's a terminology that you rarely ever hear them say. Usually, typically, you'll hear it mostly from us. But if they call you that, then that means you really, really are a fucked up individual, in which he is. I saw two white cops so far that was tearing him a new one. I think I saw the lead attorney had did a video about it too. So yeah, and I was looking in the comment section and people was cooking him there too. But he always does this. He did it with Tyree Nichols. He did it with Sonia Massey. He did it with Uvalde. And now he's doing it with this. The last time we went over, examined him like this was a few months ago when that black man had got into it with that white lady in his driveway. Y'all remember that? D'Artagnan said, Greg Floyd got video to him bowing down for Hogan and Joey Swole. I'm not surprised. That's why I said, keep y'all notifications on when I do the video about the bootlick. That'll be coming real soon. Just make sure y'all are ready for that one. All right, y'all. Let's inhale and exhale. Grab your oxygen tanks. grab your antacids, your Gas X, and your Pepto-Bismols and your Tums, because this is going to be rough. And I have the video sped up to its highest, which is at a 1.5, because we trying to get through this as fast as possible.
Sent me a video last night and said, "Hey man, this guy is talking real crazy about you, man. It's crazy. He's saying all these negative things about you." And I said,
well, let me just stop right there. A lot of people say a lot of crazy things about Fakem, but now this is the person you decide to respond to. This guy loves the approval of white people so much that he doesn't even respond to the black people that say shit about him. He says, I'm going to respond to the white guy because, you know, I care so much about what they think about me. Hey, listen, SD Johnson, if you got to grab your tree, do that too.
Let me check out the video. And this is regarding the police incident that occurred in February. That we just not hearing of it because the guy's a grifter and he want to make money off of police interaction and not because.
Well, if that's not the pot calling the kettle black, calling someone else a grifter, dude, is that not what you are? This guy actually thinks he's not.
He really cared that he was done wrong by police.
He's talking fast, brother, man, because I have it sped up. We ain't trying to be here all night,
in my opinion. So I'd never heard of this guy before. I don't even know the name of his social media thing. It's Lackluster, I think is what it's called, which is pretty ironic. Because I'm getting ready to debunk this gentleman every step of the way on this video. This is the easiest debunking that I'm ever going to do probably in my life.
And why he ain't going to debunk? Listen, here's the thing. He's not going to debunk a damn thing. He's not. Just follow along.
If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum. That's it. Put your biases aside. Put your anti-police rhetoric aside. Do some research before you
fake them. People have been making videos about you. You just want to acknowledge this guy because I think this guy has like over 1 million subscribers. But people have made videos about you before. I don't know why he's thinking no one has ever talked about him. I mean, hello, the person hosting this live right now has done several videos on this dude over the years. Whether he was the main character or the supporting cast, much like what we're doing right now.
You decide to make a video calling me a bootlicker and all kind of other stuff when you have no idea what you're talking about according to the law. You have no idea what you're talking about according to police interactions. You have no idea what you're talking about according to what you claimed that I said and the positions that you said I took and didn't take. Ladies and gentlemen, get this guy on the show. I'm going to debunk him every step of the way. Roll the clip.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. Today's video is a response to the one I made yesterday. I released that video with the information that I had at the time, and since that video, the sheriff has released the body cam footage and has made a statement. Apparently, there's a police report out as well.
The cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse.
We'll include some of that and review some of what Officer Brandon Tatum says on his Substack. Most of you know who he is and know that he can make some ridiculous claims. And in this case, it is no different. First, he claims that the full body cam has been released, and while most of the relevant footage has been posted, we have only been granted the opportunity to view the incident from a few angles that the sheriff's office decided to show.
The currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera.
Second,
current relevant body-worn camera. That doesn't mean that they pick and choose and show you this angle and cut this angle. It's relevant, meaning the body-worn camera that's released that shows the incident at hand. That means that if you were involved in this incident, the body-worn camera was shown. If you had no involvement in this incident, there's no need to show the body-worn camera during a press conference. The first lie he made, roll it.
Tatum puts in bold lettering that JSO was justified in the force used against McNeil. He follows this statement by claiming that only the palm strike was being reviewed to determine whether it was in policy, and fails to mention the several other punches inflicted to McNeil, despite agreeing to exit the vehicle.
Step out now. All right.
And placing his hands behind his back.
Behind your back! I'm resisting behind your back!
Within his defense of complete dog shit, he claims that nothing was criminal in the officer's actions. And sure.
Look at him bucking his eyes. I swear that dude can stop bucking them damn eyes. He always got to do it. Look at it. He's probably going to do that about 20 more times. I'm just saying.
The DA hasn't filed criminal charges. But we
stop right there. The DA, the state district attorney's office, deemed, according to the chief, that there was no criminal action conducted by the law enforcement officers on scene who watched the amateur video from the suspect and also watched the body-worn camera footage and all relevant footage.
They're bucking his eyes again.
That's made available. And they decided that there was no criminal activity. They decided there was no criminality. Not Brandon Tatum. The state prosecutor said that it was no criminality. Now, when you can't, now if the state prosecutor said that there was criminality and the officers were wrong, Buddy over here would have said accepted it. But guess what he says about the prosecutor now that the prosecutor don't agree with him? Roll the clip.
The government to protect itself.
Oh,
the DA is often referred to as the counter.
It's funny. Brandon always seems to agree whenever it's something like this goes his way. That's when he decides to agree. I want y'all to keep listening because he's going to say some dumb shit. I mean, he already has, but he's really going to say some real BS that when I heard it for the first time, I said, this guy right here cannot be taken seriously.
He's top cop. No charges does not mean no criminal activity. Tatum correctly states that the law gives officers discretion to use reasonable force during arrests, but incorrectly adds that that's what we saw in the video. So
how is what I'm saying incorrect when the state prosecutor agrees with what I'm saying, and also the police chief agrees with what I'm saying, that there's no criminality afoot? He mentioned that he will continue the investigation.
What do you mean agree with you? They didn't consult with you. See how he's talking? That's the part I was talking about. Agree with you. Y'all didn't have a conversation about this. It's just that y'all believe the same thing. That doesn't mean y'all was that he agreed with anything. He probably doesn't even know you. What the hell is he talking about? Talking about the prosecutor agree with me. What?
Of whether or not it was a department policy, which I wrote in my op-ed that he's referring to. But of course he don't want to show that part because he's trying to make his own point, which is ridiculous. Roll it.
Before we watch.
Brandon, isn't that what you did? Is that not the same thing you did?
The videos, let's discuss what reasonable force is and when officers are lawfully allowed to use it. We can start with the first body cam of the deputy that initiated the stop and compare it to Tatum's assertions. He claims that McNeil's headlights were not on and that he was not wearing a seatbelt, but the suspended license and having marijuana are facts that were only revealed as a result of an unlawful traffic stop conducted by JSO. The probable cause.
None of that is relevant. What I articulated in my op-ed is all of the circumstances surrounding his detention, arrest, and his resistance. So I don't have to separate the two when I'm talking about the totality of circumstances.
Notice he says op-ed, which means it's an opinion piece. So he might as well just say, in my opinion, this is this. And in my opinion, it doesn't have to be factual, but in my opinion, he said his op-ed like 2 or 3 times.
All of those things he was found guilty of in the court of law. And then also, it does matter if a person is driving a suspended driver's license and they do have drugs on their person. Because what? It explains why he was resisting arrest and acting a fool. It's not because he didn't understand the law. It was because he didn't want to go to jail. Therefore, you can paint the whole picture in totality of circumstances, Roll it.
That's not why that happened. But see, again, in his op-ed, he probably said, in my opinion. And that was his conclusion.
Stated by the deputy was that his headlights weren't on. But again, the law states during any rain, smoke, or fog.
Time out. Inclement weather, rain, smoke, fog. It also talks about sunrise, sunset. There's reasons that you have to have your lights illuminated. He did not have his lights on. He did not deny.
The cops didn't have their lights on either, you dummy. Did you not see that part either? But then again, he's not going to call out the cops though, because they didn't have their lights on either. We saw like 4 or 5 cop cars and none of them had their headlights on. If there was any other cars that were passing by during that traffic stop, they didn't have theirs on either. So explain that.
That his lights were not on. He did not skirt these charges when he went to court. Now they decided to keep him on the bigger charges and dismiss the other ones because the other ones were criminal. So you don't try to charge him with both. But he still was found responsible. He did deny responsibility. No one has said that the officers were wrong on the initial traffic stop. Why? Because I'm going to prove to you that this is inclement weather and it was raining. All right, Nick, let's get the exhibit ready because you're going to hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong. So they will make up anything.
And you bootlick. You know what? This guy doesn't even lick the boot. He has literally devoured it. Okay. Literally. I'm sure if he has to go in for an x-ray, there is a boot sitting right there in his stomach right now that cannot seem to maneuver through the large intestine.
It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his.
It's not raining now. That's the point. It's not raining at the moment. And who knows how long that was sitting. And first of all, how do you even know that came from rain? Have you thought that maybe he just came from the car wash? He just washed his car? Maybe, possibly. Because I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure this out. KG, he defends all cops. I mean, we all know this by now. That's his stick. That's all he ever does. He never, ever holds the cops accountable. I think I'm starting to see why he's no longer a cop.
His car. Inclement weather doesn't mean that it's only inclement at the instant that it's raining. And then if it stopped raining for 30 minutes or 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it's not inclement anymore. It's not just the rain. It's rain and rainy conditions. That's what the hazardous lights and putting your lights on is for, the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's why no one contested that he was pulled over rightfully. You would not have rain droplets on your car if it had not been raining. The ground is wet. It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather. All right, let's go back to the video.
Again, he still doesn't call out the fact that the cops didn't have their headlights on. I mean, I'm just saying.
None of which were present. And as to the claims of not wearing a seatbelt, the officer transmits over the radio that he didn't have any details about the occupant or occupants of the vehicle.
Hold on.
Prior to
having any
and before we go any further, I'm looking and noticing, doesn't that police car look kind of dry? I'm just saying it looks kind of dry to me.
Details about the occupant or occupant's vehicle has nothing to do with visible observation of a seatbelt in a traffic light, or not having your lights on. Not having I guess information about the people in the car means that I didn't get his driver's license. I didn't talk to him. I'm not sure if there's other people in the car. It's not that I didn't see him driving with no headlights on and no seatbelt before I pulled him over. Just for reference, he got pulled over. This is the result of him getting pulled over. This is where he stopped. The cop observed his lights not being on and observed him not having a seatbelt on. So he conducted a traffic stop. He pulled here and stopped. What are we saying? The cop is pulling him over because of his observations of the no seatbelt, in which the suspect never denied.
McNeil opening his door.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo, Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I don't know how it goes.
These two facts eliminate all probable cause for the entire stop, which means everything that occurs after this moment was unlawful.
Hold on.
And
it's a lie. I just disproved that. I just proved inclement weather.
I want you to also understand that, see how he's defending the cops like this? I'm very certain that if Bacon was still a cop, he would be doing the same exact thing. That's why the day we find out why he was fired as a cop, that is going to be a glorious one.
Which the court agrees with me on, and everybody with a brainstem does. And then I just proved.
No, everybody with a functioning brain does not agree with you. I like how he thinks that he's so intelligent. He's really not.
That the seatbelt violation, the officer observed seatbelt violation. He was charged with all these things, and he did not deny any of these claims. He only denied that, well, it's not raining. That's not.
Hey, thank you, D Money. The ground looks very dry to me, because you know, a wet ground, the pavement is darker than that. If it was wet, it looks very dry, and so does their vehicles.
Not the totality of the inclement weather statute. But when he said you didn't have a seatbelt on, he didn't deny the seatbelt violation at one time. And then there's people that's going to say, well, they pulled the seatbelt off of him when he got out of the car. Yeah, because when he shut the door and was getting crazy and pulling his camera up, he put his seatbelt on. That's what he did. So he can say, look, I have my seatbelt on, but you didn't have your seatbelt on when you got pulled over.
Only occurred because the deputies on scene were untrained as to their profession. But even worse still is that the responding officer was not wearing a seatbelt, and several of the other backup units also failed to use their headlights. It's a good thing that.
Let's see how he tries to wiggle his way out of this one. Let's see how he tries to wiggle his way out, because the person responded to him, who used the response video, is now mentioning about the headlights not being on for these cops. So let's see what he's about to say.
You can't make this up. The responding officer wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Well, police officers, anybody that know anything about policing, when you pull up to a traffic stop, many cops, when they hit the lights or whatever, they take their seatbelt off.
What?
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.
Damn. It's a bunch of bull.
What did you say, nigga?
Y'all, I told you this was going to be rough. Now you see why I have it on a 1.5 speed.
Police officers are exempt from traffic violation laws in certain circumstances. Why would the officer pull his seatbelt off while he's conducting a traffic stop? Because if suspect number one takes off running, you can get out of the car and react. If suspect number one pulls a gun on you, you can maneuver and react. Cops do not have to wear a seatbelt when conducting a traffic stop if they believe or deem that it is reasonable to take the seatbelt off.
Let me look this up because I'm curious. What he says, do cops have to wear a seatbelt? Wear seatbelts. It says, while police officers are generally required to wear seatbelts, some may choose not to or might have policies that allow for exceptions in certain situations. These exceptions are often related to officer safety and the need to quickly exit the vehicle or access their weapons. That is what it says. And that's just across the board. But exactly the choice not to.
For all these various reasons that I mentioned. And then when we talk about headlights, the lights and sirens control the lights of the vehicle. They control the lights of the vehicle. So when you turn your lights on, it takes over headlights, upper lights, and all kinds of lights. Also, officers are not obligated, depending on the circumstances, to follow traffic laws. They have to drive with due regard, and they have all of these exemptions that you can find right in the law. You can look it up yourself, or you want me to give you the chapter and verse, I can. But officers are not obligated to abide by all the traffic laws, especially when they're responding code 3, responding to an incident. That's why you can see a police officer sitting on the side of the road with no lights on. That's why a police officer can respond to the scene and go past the speed limit. If the officers had to abide by every traffic law, then they'll be in trouble right now because they were speeding to get to this thing. If a person decides to drive off from a police officer, they can't pursue because then they'll be breaking the law of going over the speed limit. There's exemptions from officers in the law, depending on the circumstances, and these circumstances don't necessitate police officers to follow every traffic law.
It wasn't unlawful to do so, but let's pretend that
I'm just saying, he just gave right here, like he just basically said that they can do whatever they want. So this guy's on the same type of timing as TK Waters. They are on the same timing.
Was, and by refusing to identify here, McNeil was breaking the law.
Yes, sir. Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that? I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over? Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. It's not raining. It's daylight. I don't need the lights, and it's not raining. That's not. He's wrong, right? Daylight is not the parameters here. And then you can see rain droplets on his car. So while he was driving, it is raining. So.
Oh, shut the fuck up! My God, I had to. Oh my God, this guy.
That's a moot point. Roll it.
It's not raining. It's not raining. Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. No, call your supervisor. Why? Excuse me? Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over? Sorry, 35. I already told you. Why did you pull me over? Step out of the vehicle. No, step out of the vehicle.
Specifically, this would be resisting, obstructing, and delay in Florida, as they do not have a refusal to ID law. Next, Tatum thinks that the officers used a proportionate amount of force for the situation because he's a bootlicking moron.
The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop.
To understand why, let's look at the law that Tatum fixed.
Notice that he didn't stop and pause the video or have his whoever that is on the side to pause or rolls the clip to stop when the guy called him a bootlicking moron. All he could do was sit there and chuckle. Yeah, you're laughing because the truth hurt, don't it? Because you know you are. He couldn't combat that. He couldn't. He combat everything else but the part where the guy called him a bootlicking moron.
Fails to explain in his obvious GPT article. Reasonable force is determined by two cases, Graham v. Connor and Tennessee v. Garner. Together, they've created use of force guidelines for law enforcement. Okay. First, the court must judge the officers based on the Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness test. This requires officers to base their use of force on the totality of the facts and circumstances. Here, the entire case for the deputies fails immediately due to the insufficient probable cause.
The state attorney's office deemed that they followed the law and there was nothing criminal in their use of force. Where is this guy getting his theology from?
I'm trying to figure out, where do you get yours from? I think everybody in the chat and everybody watching you is trying to figure that shit out too. See, it's a reason why in Brandon's comment section, whenever he does videos about these type of situations, he always gets cooked in those because he's not well versed to speak on those. He just looks at it from the standpoint that the cop is right and that whoever the civilian is wrong. But if that civilian is black, then the cop is most definitely in the right. There's no wiggle room there. He's very, very one-sided. He's always going to do this. He always does this. And he always gets fried for it too.
This is not something that hasn't been litigated yet. This is not a brand new occurrence. This happened in February. He brought his complaint like a couple days ago or whatever when he released this video. This was investigated internally, investigated from the state's attorney's office. And
Brandon gonna crash out if William McNeil Jr. wins this lawsuit.
They deem that there is nothing there.
No, brother, man, he doesn't know the Florida state laws. I would even argue he probably doesn't even know the state laws and where he lives, which I think is in Arizona.
You could say Graham versus Connor and the use of force case law, but none of that applies here clearly because they were all deemed to be acting according to the law within reason. Roll the clip.
But if the vehicle extraction was lawful, the amount of force used must take into consideration the severity of the crime, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat, and whether they were actively resisting or attempting to flee. By now, you may have heard that McNeil had a knife, but who the fuck doesn't? It was never in his hand, and upon review of the video, he never even reached for it, despite
this is the thing that people don't think about him. He has a big serrated knife that's probably 12 inches long on his floorboard. Who rides around with a knife like this? It's not.
I'm sure it's a lot of people who, hey, here's the thing. Some people ride around with, here's this, Brandon. Some people ride around with firearms. Maybe he was getting the knife back from somebody. I don't know. Maybe it was for a function. We don't know. Or is this the part where Brandon's going to assume that he was going to go and try to harm somebody? Is this the part where he's going to say that? Let's look up that. And this was in Florida, right? Florida law, riding with knife. Let's see this. In Florida, you can generally carry a knife in your vehicle. Specifically, you can carry a knife with a blade length of less than 4 inches without a permit, whether it's concealed or not. However, if the blade is longer than 4 inches, you may need a concealed weapons license to carry it concealed. There are also restrictions on certain types of knives, such as ballistic knives, which are prohibited. So there you have it. If Fakem would have looked that up, he wouldn't be asking that asinine question.
Reasonable to have a knife like this. People in the comment section or anybody watching this, how many of y'all drive around with a hunting knife this big laying on your floorboard? Nobody carries a knife like this. Does that mean
what do you mean nobody? You know everybody?
Can't. But it also speaks to his character and speaks to the danger that was present when they were conducting the traffic stop. Who knows?
They weren't in any danger. They really weren't. The only one that was in danger was the one who had his window punched out and then punched in the face.
He probably wanted to pick it up and stab the officers, but
oh God. We are at the 18-minute and 27-second mark, y'all. How did I know he was going to say something like that? He immediately went to, oh, he was probably going to try to stab one of the cops. Did you not look at the video that we all looked at? His hands were up and there was nothing in them. What threat could he possibly have been in that position?
He didn't have the courage to do it. You don't know. But this is a dangerous, deadly weapon that he has right on the floorboard. And if you watch what he's doing, he's not cooperating for a large majority of the video that he did not play. All the times when he shut the door and the cop was like, you're under arrest, get out the car, get out the car. Who knows? He could have pulled that knife from somewhere else. You can't see what he's doing in the car. That knife could have not even been there. The knife could have been in the back seat. The knife could have been on the passenger seat. And he pulled it over there and put it on his foot. Yeah, like these things do matter in the totality of circumstances. That's
because, man, I was stopping him in between and pausing, and this is a 35-minute video. It's a long video because he's reacting to someone who responded to him.
Irrational.
Like when it comes to videos like this, Fakem tends to be very long-winded and says a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, I was in the present danger that the officers were in. Just say this is a deadly weapon. Just say it was a gun. It's the same premise. Well, he wasn't reaching for the gun, but he got a gun right there that he could pick up and use against the cops. He got a knife he could use against the cops.
But he didn't. What are you talking about? He was actually compliant the entire time from the time that he was inside of the car and he turned his phone on. He just wanted to know why he was pulled over and they weren't telling him. Like, what the hell is he talking about? See, again, making up this narrative off the fly.
These things do matter in the totality of circumstance when you're evaluating the circumstance, Roland.
Officers lies on the police report, but we'll return to that point in a minute. McNeil was at best passively resisting an unlawful arrest and never attempted to flee. And the severity of the crime was so incredibly low that nearly every officer that responded to the scene was in active violation of the same law McNeil was originally pulled over for. No headlights, no headlights, no headlights. Not to mention that one.
That doesn't matter. I already said this. But when it comes to saying the person's passive, this guy, the thing that reasonable people in the courts look at is what is the officer's observation of what's happening. If a person is just sitting there like this, that does not mean that they're not a threat. The threat level is that the person is non-compliant for the last X amount of time. When they knock the window out, if the officer want to stun him while they're trying to open the door, that's nothing wrong with that. You can stun the guy to get him disoriented, to get him out back, so you can unlock the door and take care of business without you just being sitting there jangling with the door. Hold on, man.
Man, Samusa, I just increased it to 2. I think 4 is the highest you can go, but at that point, I won't understand the thing that's being said.
You good? Okay. You got a knife or gun in there? You grab it while I'm doing this right here. If an officer believes that, hey, let me stun him real quick, get his, whatever you call it in law enforcement, get his OODA loop off. So he's kind of dazed. I'm gonna do the door, and we're gonna get this thing done. We're gonna pull him out of the car. The officer can deem that that's necessary to execute an arrest. When you've never done this before, you don't know the height, suspicion, and things that go on like this. You would be like, oh, you just did it for no reason. Well, the courts evaluated, and they didn't agree with you. Not the courts, but at least the prosecutor's office, they didn't agree with you. Real quick.
The door was opened, and he was ordered out of the vehicle. McNeil responded with, "All right."
They said, first of all, he's resisting. They told him to get out 7 or 8 times already. He said, they break the window out, get out of the car. He refused. He got the door's locked. He's not opening the door. They had to knock the window out to get him out. Then they had to open the door and pull the seatbelt off of him to get him.
And notice he left out the part about him being punched because after the window was knocked out, that's when the cop punched him. But notice he just glossed right over that part. And I'm not surprised.
Now, and people say, yeah, now you put the seatbelt on during this track stop to cause this problem. Right?
Michelle 2005 said, is this a call in? Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link once we finish this.
Then they can't just pull him out. They got to undo the seatbelt and all that. He refused to get out. Then when they go to pull him out, he go, okay. But then he says, they go, put your hands behind your back. He said, no, don't touch me. He said, no, don't touch. He's holding his arms, resisting arrest. And this guy saying he was compliant. No, he wasn't. Really.
And likely would have allowed the deputies to remove him, cuff him, and put him in a cruiser. But instead, 3 deputies pulled him in opposite directions while they punched him and threw him to the ground. In fact, when viewing the body cam frame by frame, McNeil can be seen putting his hands behind his back before saying, no, don't punch me.
Listen to this guy. He said, McNeil said, no, don't punch me. Where does he get no, don't punch me? If a guy is wrestling with the cops, he's not saying, no, don't punch me when nobody punched him. He's saying, don't touch me. He's telling them, don't touch me. And this guy is saying that he said, don't punch me. The transcript that was put into the video.
Either way, you dumbass, he was assaulted. Doesn't matter if he says hit, slap, punch. He was hit. He was assaulted. It doesn't matter. See the mental gymnastics that this clown tries to do, but he doesn't necessarily pull off. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it was contact from someone's hand to this man's face. That is assault.
With the body on camera has don't touch me. I hear him say, don't touch me. Why would this guy say that he said don't punch me? It's the craziest thing ever. Road clip. They forced his arms behind his back.
Despite Neil saying don't.
Come out. They forced his arms behind his back. And just because they got his arm here, he's still resisting. He's not here with his arms behind his back. He's resisting and they're pulling his arms behind his back. He's not complying. Complying would be, as soon as he got a car. No, he said, no, don't touch me. And then they pulled it and one hit him in the face. Like, they have to wrestle this guy to the ground. He's looking for a payday, clearly. He wants to.
No, you look for a payday every time you come on here and you make stuff like this. That's what you look for. And so what if he's going to get a payday? He deserves it because of what they did. Y'all, we are at the 23-minute, 38-second mark.
Fight. He wants to get it out so he can say, oh, they abused me and I want to pay that. Road clip.
Punch me.
Go back a little bit, Nick. All right, right there. I want to play the little words in this guy's video. Play it. No. Even in this guy's own notes on the side, which he added, don't punch me. He say, no. They're saying, put your hands behind your back. No. He's saying, no. He's resisting. Don't touch me. That's what he's saying. He's resisting. He didn't get out and comply. He didn't get out and say, okay, I'm giving up. I'm putting my hand behind my back. He gets out and stands up and said, don't touch me. And he's resisting. And it takes 3 or 4 officers to force his hands behind his back. And he would still be standing up fighting with the officer and then check him on the chin, which that officer believed that utilizing that level of force is what executes the arrest. And did it or did it not? He was fighting. He was standing up. They're trying to get his arms behind his back.
Well, you know what? You remember how Fakin was acting out there at that event a couple months ago that we talked about when he had pushed that white woman off her bike? This lets me know that he would do something like this if he was still a cop. He would probably do worse, honestly. That's why I said if it ever gets out about why he got fired, it will be very interesting.
When he hit him on the chin, that's when he complied and went down to the ground passively. He still wasn't putting his hands behind his back where he can handcuff. All this is happening in seconds. Now, people who prosecute this stuff and people who are reasonable understand how this stuff happens in seconds. There's a slight delay, right? Meaning that don't do this, and the guy says boom. He could be doing boom while they finally got his arm here. This stuff is happening in seconds. So a prosecutor is not going to look at this and say, well, technically, if you look at the 1/100,000th of a second, he kind of punched him as his arm was going back. So technically, his arm is back and his fist is here, right on hit his beard.
Look at all his bullshit scenarios that he's coming up with to try to justify what they did. This man has put himself in his own mental blender.
He hit a little string of hair on his chin, technically contacted his body at the 1/1000 millionth of a second. And in his mind, he was thinking about compliance, so the officer was wrong. Nobody's thinking about that. These things are happening, and they give leeway to officers on the circumstances and how fast things are moving. Road clip. Once he hit him, he went down.
Added subtitles that read, don't touch me. Seconds before being punched a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh time.
So stop right here. This dude has a problem with the punches in the thighs. First of all, it's not the same officer. The responding officer back there was.
It doesn't matter if it's the same goddamn officer. It's the fact that it happened. See what I mean? This is the shit I'm talking about. I can't stand these descendants of tap dancers.
Punching him in the thighs to get him to comply to put his hands behind his back, fully compliant. It's not compliant because your hands are not here anymore. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's not compliant when your hands are here. It's compliant when your hands are where the officer wants your hands so you put the handcuffs on. Just because your hands are near your back doesn't mean that you complied. So officers hitting him in reasonable leg strikes to get him to comply fully with their commands to put your hands behind your back so that they can handcuff him. And this guy's not on the ground with him, so they don't know the level of resistance that he's putting up against the officers. You can't see it. You're not there. You're not physically on this guy. If he was not resisting, it would take one officer to put his hands on his back. But all these officers had to jump on him, one had to punch him and do all this just to get his hands on his back. And it's not unreasonable for officers to hit him in the legs to get him to comply. Now, if you see him complying and the officer still punching him and beating him and hitting him in the face, then we have a different scenario. The officer's punching him.
It's probably a reason why he was moving is because they were using excessive force. Like, who's going to just willingly go down like that, just let someone just slam them on the ground, whether they're a cop or not? They do that so they can say, stop resisting. And like I tell you, he's letting us know how he was as a cop. I'm telling you, the fact that he's always taking their side in situations like this lets us know this is how he was when he was a cop. You can't tell me any different.
The legs. Once you feel like the guy is fully compliant, he stopped punching his legs. That's reasonable. He wasn't punching him in the face. He wasn't trying to elbow him in the spine. He was punching him in the thighs to get him to comply. Reasonable use of force based on the officer's belief that they're doing what they need to do to execute an arrest. It's simple, man.
He said that this was a reasonable use of force. So again, just like TK Waters, Fakem agrees with everything that those cops did against William McNeil Jr.
Then clerk added officer unintelligible when the officer yells clearly, stop fighting, before punching McNeil in the legs and lower body several times, though McNeil already had his hands behind his back despite being punched.
Time out. He don't have the right hand behind his back. The officer's...
Okay. Y'all, I almost ripped the arm off of my damn chair just now. I had to catch myself. I can't finish the rest of this. I'm sorry. I can't. It's pissing me off. It really is. I'm about to just drop the link. And by the way, I'm turning the timer on today. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm doing it for the sake of time because I know a lot of people probably got some stuff to say, but I'm turning the goddamn timer on today. 2 minutes. So y'all better make whatever y'all have to say after what we just watched in the last hour and 19 minutes and 13 seconds and counting. Make it worth it. Oh, no, I got to turn the timer on today, brother, man. We got to make these clear and concise. So y'all better make sure whatever y'all got to say, make it quick. Wallow, what's going on?
You all right? All I'm going to say is this. Fuck Brandon Tatum. Fuck TJ Waters. Get that motherfucker out there. I'm landing my...
Shout out to Wallow. Next up, we got Mr. Williams. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I almost say I even put this in the chat. What's the name? Undisputable Dr. Tribe Richie. I swear almost every week or every day it's Florida cops. Every week or almost every day he has something about Florida cops, or every other day. And it's pretty much the same rotating scenario. They do this. Well, you already know what I'm getting at. And I think Florida cops is getting up there as the worst police department or something. Because I haven't seen it's still neck and neck with them in New York. But yeah, but it's getting bad. I ain't gonna really stay on long because I know everybody got to talk, and I know you want to take a break.
Yes.
All right, man.
Appreciate you coming up.
Yep.
All right, shout out to Mr. Williams. All right, next up we got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Man, don't let Brandon retard get you all worked up like that. He's been this dumb since we realized how much of a jive turkey buck dancer he was. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I mean, I'm not don't know much about that because I don't drive, but over a taillight for the cops to jump him over a taillight, that is a very unnecessary, and that's easy. That's an easy case for a lawsuit. So he should be able to win that. And once he does, I want to see the look of Brandon Tatum's face, and I want to know why his baby mama never allowed him to see their child, because that's also a red flag too. Besides him, we want to know why he's not a cop no more.
Oh, I don't know about that, but thanks for coming up.
Yeah, all right.
Shout out to Jonathan. Next up, we got AW1. What's going on?
Yeah, you good, Torian?
I'm fine. I'm coming down.
I'll send you an aspirin one day. We got to make a GoFundMe for Torian, man. So, I get it. That's what I'm saying. You better than a lot of us. You have to listen to this crap. I'm already I don't listen to Tatum at all. Obviously, I know what type of time he's on. I mean, but let me ask you in the chat this: what do you expect from from this guy, someone that laughs at a lady, laughs at someone like Sonya Massey getting shot? He laughed. Oh, I should be laughing. He later laughed at that lady.
We know.
That's like, what do we expect? He mocked black women. He's mocked black folks. He's a professional bootlicking tap dancing coon. But I mean, but stay good, Tony. Don't let this fool get you riled up, man. I understand. I get it, but yeah, don't let him ruin you though. You better. You're a soldier. Stay woke. Be one.
Be one. I think it's not necessarily the fact that it's like, well, one, it's because it is him. It's just the fact that I am so tired of these damn tap dances. Because remember, the first person we went over was what Greg Foreman said on Twitter when he said that he was expressing Neanderthal low IQ behavior and acting like a toddler. Like these, and I think it's when you think about historically with these bootlicks, a lot of the time the reason why we couldn't really get forward or do anything of progress is because of them. So when I hear them talk and say things like that, I think about what could have been and what could have transpired and the role that they played and the reason why it didn't. I've always told people you do not have to be white to be a white supremacist. I present to you Exhibit A that we just listened to. Mansa Musa, what's going on?
Yo, you hear me? Look, man, hold on. You hear me? You hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, my fault. It be going out sometimes. Look, tired of this burnt bacon wrapped barbecue meatball head ass nigga, man. All I'm gonna say is this is an ex-cop showing niggas why we don't like cops now, bro. We don't. This is why. This is why we don't fuck with cops, especially cops like him. So, all that to say is, fuck that dude. Real talk. I'm out.
Appreciate you coming up. All right, next up we got, I'm gonna try to make sure I get the name right this time because every time I bring this up, I always get it wrong. Amethyst.
Amethyst. Can you hear me?
I got it wrong again. I'm gonna get it eventually one day. What's going on?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that I feel your pain, man. I definitely feel your pain. And listen, we have seen this time in and time out again to where the police officers, no matter if it's Florida, Chicago, LA, Minneapolis, they automatically use excessive force because they look at black people as we're enemies, we're nothing but animals, we're lazy, we sell drugs, we do this, we do that. They look at everything bad. When they see black, they automatically seem bad. And they treat us totally different than how they treat their own people. And that's just fact. When I was younger, right, I used to think that the cops were the good guys. But over these last couple years, with the George Floyds, with the Breonna Taylors, with the Philando Castile, with the Sonya Masseys, and so many others, the cops, they're the real Crips now. They hate us. They hate black people. They can't send our asses back to Africa, so they got to get a way to get rid of us. And killing our asses and beating the shit out of us is the quickest way how they going to get us out of here. But that ain't going to happen. I don't even look at cops in the face when they pull me over. And then they want to know why we got a problem. You can't figure out why we don't like y'all asses? No. You don't respect us, so why should I respect you? I don't give a damn if you're in a uniform or not. You guys are fucking racist. You hate black people. You want to kill us so bad. That's why y'all got a bash, because y'all need an excuse to kill us. And this shit keeps happening year in and year out. And the Democrats nor the Republicans do not give a damn about black people getting killed out here by these cops for no reason. Because y'all look at shit online and you think that all black people are bad. We're drug dealers. We're this, we're that. We're lazy. we're this, we're that, and they automatically start racially profile. Oh, she's got to be on drugs. Oh, he's a criminal. He's this, he's that. That's all.
I appreciate you coming up. Wallow, you got your wish. Wallow be putting buzzer in the chat, so when it's like at the 1 minute mark, I'm like, you got 2 minutes. Okay. I don't think this is KG, but we about to find out. Officer Bootlicker. Is this KG or somebody else?
Nigga, you know who this is. What's up, brother? You good?
I will be.
You need some wings. I say you some wings down there.
Anybody who's familiar with my Torian Rage days knows that me going off like that is not new. But you had to be around in the inception to catch that.
You know, I just want to make sure you all right, brother. No need for aneurysms for the third person coon. All right, you don't need that. And don't worry, I'm what you kept saying in there about trying to find out what happened with him and cops. I'm actually working on that right now. So don't worry. Give it about a month or so. We're gonna have a fun live that day. I just want to make sure you all right.
Appreciate
and go get you. I don't know. You gotta do 600 push-ups. I don't know what you be snacking on, cashews or something. You're gonna be all right. We need you around. You're a young dude. We need you around. The deadbeats need you. No aneurysms for coons. Okay, please.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm gonna go watch SummerSlam.
All right. Shout out to KG for coming up. I think KG might have been the last. There, while killing me with putting buzzer in the chat. But I think KG might be the last person to come up. Yeah, like I said, if y'all never heard me go off before, just go look at my Torian Rage videos that I did. It's a reason why I stopped doing those, because of situations like this. So it's like now I have to bring myself down. That's why I put the timer on, because I didn't want to have people talking for too long, because I got out of character. I did. Like anyone knows me knows that the tone I'm speaking to y'all right now is typically the tone I'm always speaking in. But that just royally pissed me off. But I do appreciate everybody's concern, though. Oh, hold on. We got another person that just came up. Church, what's going on?
How you doing, Torian?
I'm doing good. Well, I will be.
You're getting there. No worries, family. I totally understand you, because I'm at work right now. Literally, I was punching the air halfway through listening to that stuff, man. But I just wanted to say this real quick about Tater Tot. This is one of the major reasons why when he gets his ABK, ain't nobody going to say nothing, and they're going to enjoy watching it. This dude has shown himself to not only be anti-black, like a lot of the stuff that he was saying, he was basically just trying to he was lying, not even trying. He was outright lying, talking about
it was basically rage bait. And the thing is, and I think let me pause it right quick while I say this, because I want to give you your time. When I felt like I just got disappointed in myself, because I always tell people don't fall for the rage bait, and that's exactly what I just did in this moment.
Yeah, it's exactly what the hell he was trying to do. And every time he said, an officer can punch you in the face if they deem it necessary in order to arrest, no, that is not a law. It's not a law anywhere. And if they do that, then they always, I don't want to say always, but for the most part, if this is the right person that happened to, in Nabisco, guaranteed, they would be held accountable, those officers, with the quickness. After you done broke his window and y'all pulling him out of the car, that was it. There's not supposed to be any type of physical touch, especially a punch to the damn face. Now, if the dude is trying to fight you, that's something totally different. But yeah, you could tell in everything that he was saying, he was basically he was being the person he knows they want to see. That's what that is.
Right.
But thank you for having me up, family.
No problem. Shout out to Church for coming up. Next, we got Jay the Informant. What's going on?
What up? There we go. What's going on, Torian? What's going on, everybody in the crowd? Hey, man, Torian, I told you this before, man. There's a market. There's a market on the internet for this type of stuff. This is what they want to see. This is what Tatum's going to market to his audience, this nonsense. As long as they're right and everybody else is wrong, culture war, police always right is what they do over there in his sector. there's a market for this stuff, and people are going to participate in the market as long as the market is viable for everybody to make money off of. Like the grifters, like Tatum, which was kind of crazy to hear him calling the other dude a grifter when you're looking at yourself. I mean, bruh.
Right.
But that's all I wanted to say, man. There's a market for this, and Tatum's going to be participating in the market until he dries up.
Right. That was it. All right. It was. All right. Well, it doesn't. I don't think anybody else is coming up. Yeah, I have to go decompress after this. That's why I had to turn the timer on today. But anyway, y'all, shout out to Hacksign KT for blessing me with the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. The next live that I do will be tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow is True Crime Sunday. I'm sure by now y'all have already seen the post on the community tab. I already have the window up. It's going to be on the Chris Benoit situation. It's crazy to believe that happened the year I graduated from high school. It seems so long ago. But that's going to be the True Crime Sunday topic tomorrow. The pre-show is going to start at 11. Hold on. We got some. Oh, wait a minute. KG, you came back.
I just wanted to come back so why would Jay say buzzer again?
Oh.
I just want to hear you laugh before we get off. Go watch SummerSlam, brother.
All right.
And we got room for black people tonight.
Right. All right. Appreciate you for that. All right, but shout out to KG. But yeah, tomorrow will be True Crime Sunday, 11:40 a.m. is the pre-show over here. Then, of course, at 11:55 a.m. we'll be over on Rumble, so we'll be on the lookout for that. And that's pretty much it as far as what I have coming up tomorrow, and that's it. But shout out to everybody who came through. I'm about to go and again, I'm gonna just go decompress right now. Actually, I'm actually hungry. This live stream done sparked up an appetite for me. But anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. It's actually pretty nice today. So go outside and touch grass. Something that the person that we just had the displeasure of going over for the last hour or so should be doing. But anyway, y'all be safe and see y'all tomorrow and be one.